This session introduces water supply service of Ogimi village, a village of population 3,074 located in a northern pristine area of the Okinawa main island. This is Ogimi village's water purification plant. The sign says, small-scale water supply service, Ogimi village. Now, we've entered the purification plant premises. This is the entrance gate to the intake weir. The sign says off limits, and the gate is locked so that nobody except those concerned can enter. We are walking towards the intake weir. Here we are. This is the intake weir. Hello, I'm Hiroyuki Miyagi from Construction and Environment Division of Ogimi Village Office. This is the intake weir we manage. The river water is dammed up, and each day about 1,000 tons or 1,000 cubic meters of water is transmitted to the purification plant through a pipe. I come here every day to visually check turbidity of the water. Since it was raining heavily for the last 2 days, the water is rather cloudy. We are therefore not going to take water from this river today. I'm going to drain mud from intake weir now. A pipe is installed at the corner of the weir to transmit water to the purification plant. After heavy rain, mud and sand go into the pipe area, so I drain them out. It seems like mud is drained, so the drain valve is being closed. Now, mud draining is done. I did the same mud draining work 3 days ago. So that is why the water is not too cloudy today, even though it rained heavily yesterday. Let's take a good look at the intake weir one last time. Downstream from the intake weir, the river looks like this. And the trail leading to the intake weir looks like this. Now, we are back in the purification plant. Earlier, I showed you the river, which we take raw water from. The raw water is transmitted through the pipe and then flows in this receiving well first. This receiving well is a facility for visually checking water turbidity. We only use groundwater for today, since the river water was rather cloudy due to heavy rain. Let's move on to the intake well for groundwater, located in the plant premises. The well is about 4 meters deep and is designed to be able to take about 1,200 tons or cubic meters per day. The groundwater pumped up from this well is also transmitted to the receiving well I showed you earlier, same as the river water. Since the water of this well is drawn from deeper than the river, we can use it as a water source that is not affected by weather conditions. Now, let's move on to sedimentation ponds. This is the sedimentation pond. The water from the receiving well passes here, and relatively large impurities in the water are removed here by sedimentation. Since our raw water is very clean, we do not need to use chemicals such as coagulant in the sedimentation ponds. We have 3 sedimentation ponds in total. Water from sedimentation ponds flows into these filter ponds. Floating impurities and excessive algae are removed here. There are 7 filter ponds at this water purification plant, and all of them are slow sand filter that purifies water by ecological purification process. Each pond can purify 350 tons or cubic meters of water daily. The purified water is supplied to the entire village for 3,074 people from 1,690 households. Now, let's move on to the chlorination room. This is the chlorination room. Here, chlorine is injected in the purified water. To chlorinate, we use sodium hypochlorite. It is delivered as solution from the supplier, and we store it in this tank. We control chlorine concentration to be less than 1 milligram per liter, usually around 0.6 to 0.8 milligrams per liter. To manage concentration level, we use monitoring equipment and PC at the office. Here is the office. Central monitoring board and other monitoring equipment are located here. Monitoring items such as intake amount and chlorine concentration can be checked with this PC. This yellow line shows chlorine concentration. Currently, it is 0.67 milligrams per liter. We control the value to be within 0.6 to 0.8 milligrams per liter. The water from the intake weir and well is transmitted to the receiving well. The water then goes through sedimentation ponds and filter ponds. Purified water is then stored in 2 tanks located underground and then pumped up to the main service reservoir, namely Tsuha Service Reservoir, located on top of a mountain. From there, drinking water is distributed by gravity flow to other service reservoirs and to households. That was the introduction of our water purification plant. The reason why we can supply purified water to the entire village with such a small facility is because the quality of raw water from rivers and underground is quite good. Or in other words, the raw water quality is maintained to be good. If raw water from water source is not clean, we need a larger and bigger plant. Its construction and maintenance cost will be significantly larger. To avoid that, areas surrounding the intake weir and upstream water source, as well as areas that influence groundwater, are designated as village-owned land, and development activities on these areas are legally prohibited for environmental protection and conservation. I strongly encourage you to protect source water environment in your country too. If you are already doing conservation activities, let's keep on working hard. If you think there are still a lot of things that need to be done, please remember that your effort will make your drinking water cleaner, safer, and tastier. I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.
以上、大宜味村から宮城がお送りしました。お疲れ様です。